Your last big show was Life on Mars, which also had another sci-fi TV show. Was that a conscious decision, or did it just come to you?
Yes, I only do shows now that have time travel in the premise, and the more far-fetched, the better. No, I try to take things, I try to go for scripts that I find interesting, a little different to what's out there. I don't mind playing a cop, but as long as that cop's in sort of an extraordinary situation, I find it a lot more interesting. I like it when my imagination gets sort of tested and stimulated.
Thank you.
The show's been compared. Oh, I'm sorry. We're
I
doing one
don't
at
know
a
if we're
time.
doing this.
Forgive me.
Be my guest.
I'm sorry. The show's been compared quite a bit to Avatar. How do you find it in tone?
You should probably ask him that.
It's very different to me. I understand, why the comparison is kind of inevitable at this point. Just the exotic nature of the locale, I think, and certainly the fact that I play an authority figure in both things, so I understand. But they're very, very different. It seems to me. One involves, a planet long, far away, and this is a time travel show. I think in both cases, thematically, they are similar in the sense that both shows are founded upon the possibility of a second chance, of creating a new life out of a life that was not so good, it seems to me. So I think Avatar being as successful and as sort of wonderful as I feel it is, that I'm delighted, in fact, that comparisons will be made, and there's no doubt in my mind at all that given the team that we have, that we're going to be able to measure up to Avatar or any other standard we might be measured against.
I generally don't like comparisons. I think it's too easy. It's just, it's like, come on, you can do a little better than that. It's a little more complicated than that. But there is one similarity that I really like between the two, which is they both seem to be inspired by stories from the Old West. They're stories that have been part of our story as humankind for a long time, and even before then, So in that sense, they're timeless, and I really like that.
I think that's true. There's a Fort Apache mentality to both. In the one point, it's Hell's Gate in Avatar, and here, of course, it's Terra itself. But what is different, it seems to me, is that both of these postulate trying to live in harmony with an environment rather than back in the old John Ford days where you're really trying to, you're in battle and you're trying to conquer the environment that's around you. So in a way, we're kind of a postmodern take on the Western, I think.
Yeah.
I wonder what the emotional power of the show is for both of you. Obviously, we have dinosaurs and we have adventure and all, but I'm curious what the emotional part of it is, and also as far as your characters are concerned, what your feelings are about the characters you're playing. It's for both of you.
Well, it's a great question, because on that level, our experiences are very different because they're two very different characters. My character is extremely emotionally charged because he has to achieve so much just to get to the point where he's going through the portal and entering this new world. He has to escape from prison, and he's there for reasons that will be disclosed later. He's trying to get his family, meet up with his family before they go through. They're already slated to go through. And once they're there, he has to try to bring his family back together. They've been apart for so long. And the family dynamic that exists within that, in this extremely dangerous and hostile environment. And it's not just the dinosaurs, that we have to worry about. There are things going on in the colony itself, human things that need to be sorted out, like power and society and structure and politics and things like that. So there's certainly by the end of the second episode, you get the feeling that there's going to be some conflict.
Well, it's for my character, Commander Taylor. He is not only a founding father, in a sense, he's the founding father in this situation. He's the first through the portal, and he really sets about creating Terra Nova, not in his image, but in according to an ideal that has been established already among other people, but he's the guy who is really setting all the rules and the standards, and that carries with it this tremendous responsibility. You know, a founder of a civilization in a way, and that's how that operates on you, just in terms of stress, in terms of ego. I think all the ramifications can be really, really interesting and bring about a lot of internal kind of source for the guy, and it's what appealed to me so much in it. But the thing I would say about him is that everything he does and has done is based on really, really righteous, which is not to say self-righteous, idealism. That he really is interested in bringing about a better world. I think at some point how one achieves that is open to discussion. It seems to me, and what kind of a society we're creating. You know, when I look at this as not a situation that's not so terribly different than the Pilgrims when they got to Plymouth Rock, trying to carve something out of a very, very tough environment, and to carve something out that philosophically makes sense. And when does philosophy and practicality? We go there. We want to live in harmony with the environment. Well, what does that mean when you're being charged by some huge creature? Do you kill it, or do you stun it? What do you do to it? So, and then as Jason suggests, just the dynamics within the community is really what forms the core of the drama, I think, of the story, just people to people.
And as far as emotion goes, it's, the idea of getting a second chance it's very charged, and we both want to get it right in our own way. I want to get it right with my family. You want to get it right for your own reasons as a colony. And so we're under pressure to get it right,
And it's it's not a pressure that you leave behind on the weekends.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Right. It's a 24-hour, 7-day-a-week situation there where where everything you do is kind of new, and every day presents a whole new set of challenges and creatures you've never seen before. It's interesting. It's fun.
Sounds cool.
Obviously, there's a lot of dinosaurs have a lot of appeal from a distance, at least. The idea of a dinosaur is pretty cool to most people who haven't.
Fence.
Right, exactly. But how does that sense of wonder mingle with the fear, the terror of actually encountering a creature that can kill you really easily?
It's one of the things that's extraordinary about our species is how quickly we adapt to things that we've never encountered before. I mean, I maintain that at some point, if aliens land on a planet, within 6 months, it's going to be like old news, And I think you take the reality that you're presented with on its own terms, and you deal with it, and not every dinosaur is there to eat you, but I think, whenever you're in an environment which is a lethal environment, that you are always kind of on guard, and that kind of relates back to the stress that I was talking about. You've always got your weapon on. You may have the safety on, but you're always wearing your weapon.
It's a jungle, We're surviving in a jungle, and they're wild animals.
Not so different than, look, I'm from New York City. I see that. What I mean about that is that the fact that my antenna is on is not something that I even spend any time thinking about. It just is. You know what I mean? You get on the subway, I know what's what. You're in a neighborhood, and I'm talking about New York because I'm from New York, it could be anywhere. And